Susan? Susan, I'm Dr. McDonald. I'm one of the doctors working at the Mother's Mental Health Clinic today that your docs referred you to.
I told myself I wasn't going to cry. This is what's happening all the time.
Okay.
I don't know what's wrong with me. Completely out of control. Sorry, you asked me something.
It's okay. No need to sort of apologize. We're just getting started. You say you don't know what's wrong with you, right? Obviously, there's a lot of distress.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what your doctor was concerned about. So we're just going to talk a little bit about what's been happening for you.
Okay.
Can you tell me a little bit about sort of what's going on for you, about that distress?
Yeah. I just don't know what's going on. I mean, I just feel out of control. We planned this baby. It's been planned for a while, and I'm a school teacher, and my mother used to run a daycare. I should know what I'm doing, and I don't.
Right. So you had a sense of how this would be, and it's not gone that way.
No.
It's not been what you expected, right? So let's talk a little bit about that now, kind of sort of what your situation and your expectations were. So you mentioned you're a teacher, and do you have a partner in your life?
Oh yeah. I've been married for 5 years. We were together for 4 years before that.
Okay.
Ben, he's an engineer, and he's a really dependable guy. He's been really great throughout all of this. I'm the one who's kind of a mess.
All right. And was this a planned pregnancy for you and Ben?
Oh yeah. We've wanted this baby for a long time. Now it just seems like he's the one who's having a good time being a dad and just not having such a good time being a mom. He must be really disappointed and not showing it.
So sometimes we talk about that people don't feel like their usual self. Would you say
that's what Ben says
true?
about me. He says I'm not my usual self.
Ben uses those words, yeah. Do you think you can talk a little bit about that again, about in what ways you're not your usual self? What's different?
Well, the pregnancy went great, fine. But then I started having trouble with feeding. I wondered whether it was my breast milk or whether I didn't know what I was doing. And I called the nurse a bunch of times, and everybody says, breastfeeding is a good idea. So I kept going, but it was really a struggle. It was really uncomfortable, and it hurt, and he was fussy. The baby was fussy, and it's just not any fun.
So those early weeks, they sound like they were really tough. You used the word struggle. You felt like you were struggling?
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about your baby? He's a boy, is that right?
Yeah, he's 4 months old.
Uh-huh.
He's not so colicky anymore, so he's starting to smile a little bit, and he's gaining some weight. He's eating now.
And is he, when we talk about expectations, is he doing kind of what you would expect for this age and stage at this point now? You say he's not so fussy.
Well, based on the baby books I've been reading, he seems to be in the right spot. I mean, he's smiling a little bit, and he's following me with his eyes.
So, what's his name, your baby boy?
Simon.
Oh, Simon.
Simon Alexander. He's named after both his grandfathers.
Okay. So, he's doing fine. But now, how do you feel in the relationship with Simon? How does the whole mothering sort of experience feel to you so far?
To be honest, it's not feeling so good. I'm not having a good time. I mean, I love him, but I am so tired all the time. And
would you be able to say that you're able to enjoy him, even little moments, or?
No, and I feel really bad about that. I feel bad for him. I mean, I'm not enjoying anything.
So the mothering has been kind of overwhelming. It's been a struggle.
Really?
You do seem weary to me, as we sit here together.
I'm weary.
Yeah. What about things that before the baby? Can you enjoy things that you used to enjoy before the baby?
No, I'm not enjoying anything. I don't even remember what I enjoy. I got an invitation to go out to my friend's cottage, and I just didn't see how that would be any fun. I was still breastfeeding, and they'd all be off doing their thing, and Ben thought I should do it because we've got some stored baby milk, and I could go out to I just don't feel like doing anything.
Mm-hmm. It's like too much.
It's too much. Mm-hmm. Usually I would love it. Just now it doesn't. Nothing seems to really make any sense.
This is a change.
Yeah, big change.
And what about your appetite now?
I'm not hungry. I'm not eating so much. I mean, I try to eat, get some nutrients so I'm not harming the baby, but Ben makes most of our meals, and I've lost a bunch of weight. I lost all my baby weight. Mm-hmm. Ben thinks I'm getting too thin, and he thinks I need more energy, and I just, I snapped at him because I was like, well, you're not the one whose life changed, and then I feel bad, because I'm like this all the time. I'm either flat or crying or irritable.
Mm-hmm. And if you had to put words on your mood, how would you describe your mood?
Just sad.
Sad. Mm-hmm. What's your outlook for yourself? How do you feel about the situation you're in?
Just lost.
Do you think it will improve? How do you see it?
I'm feeling kind of hopeless. I don't understand what's going on. And I just feel like, those guys would probably be better off with if I wasn't there.
Oh, I mean, that sounds like a really lonely kind of way to feel. Why do you think that they'd be better off without you?
Because I'm not interested in being a mom right now because I'm not very good at it, and I thought I would be good at it, and I'm not. And, I don't want to tell Ben because that's one of the reasons he married me. He thought I'd be a good mom, a teacher. I should be a good mom.
Let me ask you something. Some women that I work with, when they feel this low, and kind of this hopeless, like I feel a bit with you when I sit with you here, sometimes they say, people are better off without me. I wish I could disappear. Sometimes they even have thoughts about harming themselves. Have you had any kind of thought like that, like about harming yourself in any way?
Word, you would ask me that. I guess I'm kind of glad you asked me to. Yeah, I just feel like I want to disappear.
Disappear? More like retreat or disappear forever?
Just escape. I mean, I don't think I want to actually die, and I don't want to harm myself, but, I just want to, run away.
So more like an escape?
Yeah.
Than actually sort of an idea or a plan to harm yourself, is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So just to make sure I'm clear, so there's a few things going on here. You're not your usual self. Your mood is really quite down. And you say your energy and kind of just your interest in everything seems to be really, really low. Pretty hard on yourself, thinking you're not doing, what you should be doing, and that this wasn't the way you sort of pictured it for yourself as a mom, being a teacher and everything. And sounds like you're really struggling. And there's some of this sense of wanting to escape, but not to harm yourself. It's more that this is really a state of quite a bit of distress for you. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
What's your sleep been like?
Oh, I could sleep all the time. I mean, on the weekends, Ben does everything, and I sleep 10, 12 hours, and it doesn't change anything. I could get up and go right back to bed 2 hours later.
Sometimes sleep is that kind of an escape that women sort of talk about. They're not really rested, right? So I'm wondering, Susan, have you ever had any time in the past that you felt even similar to how you've been feeling these last few weeks?
No, that's just it. I've never felt like this. I don't understand. I mean, usually it's the opposite, you know. I'm a busy, strong, happy person. Usually my friends come to me for advice. I don't understand.
And is there any history of any kind of problem with mood or any other kind of mental health problem, do you think, in your family that you grew up?
No. I mean, that's why I feel like such a fraud. You know, I don't know where this comes from. Everybody's, you know, very high-functioning leaders in their field. They've all been to school. I mean, I feel like a fraud. I don't understand where this could be coming from. I don't think I've ever known anybody who had a mental illness or the struggle of this kind. I thought, now I'm one of them.
Right, so this is like a real ambush for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is not uncommon, actually. I mean, upwards of even 1 in 10 women will have depression symptoms fairly significantly after their baby is born. That's why we call it sort of postpartum depression. So maybe we should start to talk a little bit now about what kind of a treatment or recovery plan there might be for you.
You mean like medication? Because I almost didn't want to, you know, I didn't want to come here because I was worried about that. I feel like medication is a cop-out. I want to be able to do this. I mean, there must be a way for me to do this another way.
You know, what we start with is we focus on that, you know, you're really not your usual self. You're very clear. You've never had a period like this before. And we really start by focusing kind of on your function, right? And really looking at that target that we want you to be back to your usual self. And that we want you to have that kind of capacity to enjoy, right? And that initiative, the natural desire to do things. So that sort of guides our treatment plan. Sometimes that involves medications. Other times there's other strategies that really are much more important. And so we'll try and look at that sort of as a whole with you. But really it's focused on your goal to get back to sort of your usual self. How's that sound?
Sure, I'm still a little bit apprehensive about the medication. But
without a doubt, we'll talk through every point that you're concerned about, whether it's medications or other strategies that we're, going to talk about. Make sure that you understand and that you're not too worried about what we're proposing and that you're part of that plan. And really, we'd like to involve Ben in that too, pretty typically. So we'll be trying to get him in with you.
Okay.
Okay? So that's where we'll start.